Hail it fast, I'm coming. The health secretary quoted interesting facts like a decline of 97% of the vulture population has led to increased human deaths by 4.7%. The WHO scientist briefly talked about One Health approach.
With a new model of development that does not follow the traditional Western model of consumerism, but really we try to live in harmony with nature where everybody can have a better quality of life, but without exceeding nature's limits.
I think it's very difficult to pinpoint at anyone. So I think if there is a program which works with people, especially involves local communities, in a comprehensive way, not in a way of tokenism, then I think you have the recipe for success. So I think that is what governments have also learned.
This area is so crowded, and it's the book signing area where the people can meet and have a small talk with the authors. Shashi Tharoor, the MP and the former diplomat, a person whom I've always wanted to meet, was full of josh. And Francis Mirels, the co-author of Ikigai, gave some tips on how to be more productive and focused.
Interpret things the way you like. And ultimately, it is true that, in India, there has been, by and large, no particular desire for territorial expansion. Since the ancient days when, of course, your Rajas would send out a horse on Ashwamedha Yajna and conquer all the territories the horse ran through. I mean, since then, we've been, by and large, a peace-loving nation. In fact, since the days of Adi Shankara, there have been 7 essential virtues that Hindus have been encouraged to.
Happiness is simplicity also,
yes,
and spiritually also.
Yes.
But the environment that we live in has a great influence on who we are.
Yes.
However cognizant of the
we must
fact
protect ourselves from the environment. For instance, if you are reading a book, put the telephone off, because if you don't do that, your attention is distorted in so many places at the same time. So, for simplicity, we must find protecting very much our space. So it's something active that you actually the frantic of the world comes from our mind. So if you decide not doing 10 things every day, but to do only 2 things, you will feel more in peace when you do that, and you will have this sense of flow. But for that you must control very much what happens with your time. So if you give your time to everyone, you won't have this peace of mind.
in that context is a very short
I think that the world is imperfect, and that and it's a matter of acceptation. If you are fighting with people because you think they should be more evolved, then you're going to suffer. So understand that everyone is in a different level of growth, and the important is what you do with yourself. If you are meditating, you are cultivating yourself, the other people will benefit, maybe a little bit, but everyone has his own path.
I was surprised to see how Malini and Ashok used social media as an avenue for creativity. He also spoke about the creative consumption ratio. While he consumes 50% of the time, he ensures to create the remaining 50%.
I only do things that I enjoy the process of making. And if it gets attention, goes viral, that's okay, that's an added bonus. But it has to be enjoyed. The process of making it has to be enjoyable. It has to make me a better writer, musician, and so on. So that I think is a groundedness that helps.
Okay,
Hi
next.
Ashok. Hi Suri. My question is to you, Ashok. I'm impressed with the creative consumption ratios. Right? So my question is, how does one develop this habit of storytelling? When you told about facts to potatoes to story, how does one develop that? Change the narratives.
The simplest answer is to have a really great storytelling grandmother, which is what I had. I suspect it's probably hard for everyone to sort of pull that off. But in a sense, it can be cultivated. One of the things I learned over time is that up until the age of 35, I used to read all these business books, how to make money, how to succeed, what did this guy do, what did Steve Jobs do, and all that sort of stuff. And then I sort of recognized that I wasn't learning really as much from it as I thought I would. I have learnt more from reading good narrative fiction than from non-fiction. from particularly, I've learned more about history and economics from science fiction than by reading economics books. Economics books is what you read if you have trouble sleeping. If you really want to learn economics, you read science fiction, really good science fiction. So I think in a sense you can cultivate it. But again, remember, I also think India is one of the world's great storytelling cultures. Right? In fact, we didn't write stuff down. We made amazing stories up so that you didn't have to write things down. People would just remember it and pass it to the next generation, right? So I think there's lots of inspiration on how to tell a good story. I think just reading good stories is the way to pick that.
Thanks for sharing. Hi, Ashu.
Has to be the kind of content that somebody does not just watch and say, yeah, good, that satisfied me, thank you. It has to be content that says, if I share this with someone else, people will think I have great taste. If you can crack that, that's the way to be empathetic to you in terms of, really engineering virality. Okay.
Well, first of all, Ashok, I would love to see your alter ego evil character account because I would follow that. Right? It's so entertaining. I think the thing is that there's a theory that I unpacked in my second book called the Dunbar Principle. I don't know if you know what it is, but the Dunbar theory basically talks about how everyone has their 5 close friends, 10, 15 close next circle, like an onion, and those layers go on. But cognitively, as humans, we can have about 150 meaningful connections at any one given.
I then engaged in some Madras busking chapter activities like letter writing, bouquet making, so on. It was such a delight to meet the former diplomat Lakshmi Puri, the youngest entrant into the Indian Foreign Service, and she's been the ambassador to Hungary and Bosnia and has also contributed to the UN's major projects on peace and security and sustainable development along with climate change.
Guru chooses a poem which is about unattained love.
Nasser has become one of my favorites after I watched this panel discussion. He spoke with such clarity and also in a very poised manner.
I have a husband and a daughter who totally love to cook themselves. We have also divided the week between us. And so 2 days it's my responsibility, 2 days it's the husband, and 2 days it's the daughter. And also my mother who's now living with us. So cooking is a part of our lives, no matter what. And I have a daughter who is, by the way, answering her pre-boards right now. And the other day at 9:30 in the night, she...
And that's a wrap, folks. We'll come up next time with other interesting videos and happenings in Chennai.